The drivers are away on their formation lap. You can see some interesting shadows, and there's a Ferrari spearing off into the side. I think that was actually Liam 1-3, just driving to the right now. That could be a situation where all the work he's done to get going, get the server built for us, he may have had his wheel turned to the side. And just as he presses the throttle, hadn't realised. Yeah, we don't want anybody rejoining during the formation lap, as Liam 1-3 just points out. It messes everything up. But remember, our pole sitter is Jibuk from Jimmy Allen in the Alfa Romeo. Then FaZe Max, last week's winner. Joni Mater had a great showing in Bahrain and starts 4th in the Williams with Wobo, the solo Haas tonight. He's a reserve driver. Joni Mater's teammate, Vapor Shadow, is in 6th place. I have to say, not quite sure who you're calling out, Trappy Formula, in the chat for headshot to win. I don't know who you're referring to, unfortunately. The McLarens quite close to each other on the grid. The BMWs are close, and of course our Aston we've got Mercedes at the front and the back, Alfa Romeo at the front and the back, Aston Martin's 3rd and 9th. So most of the drivers will be able to drive without much in way of regard for their teammates' position. I think maybe the Williams drivers might need to coordinate their pit stops. So we're about to get going. We've got some starting lights. Hooray! It's 5 lights on. It's lights out, and away we go with the F11's round 2. Cars spreading out along this wide start-finish straight. Looks like a really poor start from the Aston Martin and the Mercedes as Jimmy Allen goes sideways across the first corner. Joni Mater with a tremendous start away from 4th on the grid, with Vapor Shadow, his teammate, following closely behind in 3rd. A dramatic first corner. A problem already for Oosterveer for gaining a place and getting our first penalty. He's already caught a penalty there. It looks like Vapor Shadow has a great run down the Mistral going into the Nord chicane. Will he have a lunge? Not quite. What about the rest of our drivers as they pile into the chicane? Looks like BMW Oosterveer is overtaking. Put a big lunge on the Ferrari of Vettel. And it's mayhem down the second half of the Mistral on lap 1 of 27. We've got yellow flags all over the place. Cars just exploring the grip limits through Sanya and discovering that the grip is not there for everybody. Problem then for Jimmy at the start. Problem for Liam 1-3 as well. Jimmy is actually DNF'd already. That must have been a really heavy impact. Really sad to see Jimmy go. I hope his fans will stay with us, and I hope that I hear from Jimmy. Said, yeah, someone hit him from behind. Unsure of their braking zone. He's lost his rear wing. That's it. Nothing happening for Jimmy tonight. Really sorry to see Jimmy go. But your order on lap 2 then is Joni Mater at the front with close attentions from Jibuk, our poleman, and Vapor Shadow. Jibuk the meat in a Williams sandwich as they head down the Mistral. No DRS just yet, so there probably won't be that many moves into the Mistral, into the Chicane du Nord at this point. You want to see tyres? We can see tyres. More than happy to do that. So, looks like Jamie, having started nearer the back, has made up several places. So Jamie is the highest medium place runner. Nice wide angle view there. Djibouc closing in now. And I don't have any intervals, unfortunately. Sarge, yeah, must have got very lucky indeed. You're absolutely right, Mark. He's had a tremendous start, as it looks like Djibouc is trying to switch back through Dupont and is actually past Joni Mater. I wonder if they bang wheels and just suck the momentum away from Joni Mater's car. So Djibouc in first place now, taking the lead at the end of lap 2. But that's going to leave him vulnerable, of course, to Joni Mater behind a Williams 2-3 at this point. We haven't seen that since the late 90s, I think, in real life at least. A wide moment for Joni Mater there onto the blue stuff. Joni Mater's struggling at this stage, lost the lead, and I think is letting his teammate go, yes. Vapor Shadow up to P2. That looked like a well-worked move. So cooperation from the two teammates, possibly Joni Mater recognising that his tyres aren't perfect, or he got dirty tyres at least through that short off. What's Sarge up to? Sarge is motoring along, doing great in P8 already, getting underneath Oosterveer's Red Bull and through into Sanya. These guys really close to each other. We're going to head back to the front of the grid shortly, but the BMWs, the Red Bulls, are just navigating these switchback corners carefully so as to not crash into each other. So Salin and BMW doing really well. But back up near the front, the gap stretching out a little bit. Djibouc is getting away now from Vapor Shadow, who is in turn gapping his teammate. We've got a yellow flag and a virtual safety car. I wonder what happened. Wobo's down there. Panda's in the pits after 2 laps on the soft tyres. So Panda going for an early change or potential damage fixing. FaZe Max has picked up a penalty. We've got penalties already for several drivers. NRO, BMW and Wobo have all got penalties at this point, unfortunately. But the big gainer is absolutely Sarge, closely followed by Salad, who's had a great early phase of this race. Djibouc back to where he started, but he did lose a place to Joni Mater on the first lap. So we've actually got a full safety car because we have lost Wobo, we've lost Vettel, Liam 1-3 and Jimmy Allen, and it must be doubly frustrating for our drivers to work as hard as they have done, to wait as long as they have to have this race start and then to crash out in lap 1 or 2. BMW says he'll get the penalty removed. That's cool, but I think you might have to serve it in the pits, unfortunately. Djibouc is going in the pits, so is Vapor Shadow. What does Joni Mater do? He's going to follow Vapor Shadow, so that's going to be interesting in the Williams garage. Let's stay with that one in a minute. Jamie in the pits and our row. Sarge stays out, so Sarge is going to find himself in the lead of the race. So like I say, this one's going to be interesting with the Williams drivers heading down to the final end of the pit lane. They're going to have to double stack, and I can see Joni Mater having to wait. Vapor Shadow gets away. Joni Mater very delayed. It might have been a better decision to let their teammate go first, but Joni Mater down to 6th currently, unless anybody else goes past. So Sarge up 17 places. Did anybody predict that Sarge would be in P1 on lap 5 of the race? That's astonishing, isn't it? Let's go back to our tyre view though and see what people are have elected for. Everyone has got rid of the softs. It's a high degradation surface, especially if you go off track. So no surprises to see people shedding those softs at the earliest possible opportunity. Jimmy has joined the chat, has joined the stream. So Jimmy, you can have a chat with your fan club who are here with you. Keep them entertained for us as we wait for the restart. Jibbook, I think joking, calling for another restart. I hope not. Some people have other things to do tonight. I'm sure. Mark saying he doesn't think he's seen Sarge ever lead a race. I'm sure that's harsh. I'm sure Sarge is a top-notch driver, really, and you're only ribbing him. So Sarge has the lead of the race on 4-lap old mediums. Very little point shedding those at this stage, and by the look of the first few laps of both of our race starts we've had tonight, we can probably expect another safety car at some stage, and especially if you see our Bahrain race. So I wonder what happened to BMW, and I am afraid I didn't see what happened to Wobo, Vettel, or Liam. Obviously we saw Liam's issue on the formation lap, but we didn't see what happened to him off the start. Liam, if you're watching, it'd be good to fill us in, let us know. So your order on lap 6, Sarge, who started at the back, is in P1. We've got Vapor Shadow in P2, who started, I think, in 5th or 6th. Jibbook, poleman, having changed tyres under this caution period. He's the pole sitter. We've got FaZe Max, last week's winner, in 4th place on hard tyres. Well, that's a brave one to the start. He's the only hard runner left on the track, so that's an interesting strategic call. He could well get 21 laps out of those hard tyres, so that's going to make for interesting restart, but he will potentially not have to pit again. I'm sure he will if there's another safety car, but if we have racing laps to the end of the race, this could really favour FaZe Max. Just warming up those tyres, so FaZe Max is going to have to be pretty aggressive on his tyre warm-up. So BMW is down there in 14th, but there's a lot of race left to run. We've only had 6 racing laps. Well, we've had 5 racing laps, one safety car lap. So there's a long way to go in this race just yet. We're about to hit the restart though. So we'll look forward to seeing at what point Sarge decides to launch the car. He may have a deficit of grip relative to the rest of the field. Everybody else pitted apart from maybe Panda, who had only just pitted himself. But Sarge pressing the loud pedal on his way out of DuPont, and we're away back to green flag racing. Vapor Shadow, there's a gap there, and we'll try and stay with the rest of the drivers as we head down the start-finish straight. Looks like we've got some nice safe gaps between our drivers, and that's what we want to see. We don't want another safety car, please, guys. Salad getting very close here to Matty in the Alpine. Matty just positioning the car nicely. Remember, the Alpines will probably have a little bit of an engine boost for the French race, and they of course match beautifully with the track paint. And we're away. Hopefully we're going to survive this first restart lap. Let's go back up to the front because Vapor Shadow is closing right in here on Sarge. Vapor Shadow should get away out of the Nord chicane nicely and should be able to tuck up behind Sarge, who's already on the defensive. Vapor Shadow will throw the car into Sanya, but he's got Dubuk right behind him. A lot of drivers that I've heard from are saying that they really enjoy the feel of the Williams car this year. Not only the look of having a new livery to enjoy, but actually the balance of the Williams seems to suit them nicely. Engine note, everything, it gives the driver enough feedback. We saw there Vapor Shadow taking all kinds of crazy lines, but none so much as FaZe Max, who picked up a penalty. FaZe Max and Dubuk are on penalties. Dubuk goes through though. Again, he's got great exit out of the final corner, Dupont, and is doing tremendously well. So back up to second place for Dubuk, with Vapor Shadow down to third, but it's really close and tight at the front here after this restart. Sarge from Dubuk, Vapor Shadow, FaZe Max, Jamie, and Jonamator, your top 6 on lap 8. Those are followed by NRO, Matty, Salad, Jam Raven making up the top 10. And look at these cars coming down the Mistral. Dubuk getting close up behind Sarge. He looks up the inside, just trying to spook him, but Sarge's eyes were firmly on the braking point and the apex. No way through. I think you do have to lift slightly through Sanya at this stage if you're following so closely behind, but you will have obviously gained quite a lot of grip and speed. Wow, look at this move around Bendor. It might end up costing Dubuk his second place as Vapor Shadow goes side by side. Little touch between friends, no harm, no foul. Dubuk going to launch it into Dupont and mess up Vapor Shadow's grip and journey down the start-finish straight. That helps FaZe Max get into third place, but Vapor Shadow fighting back. Gets the inside, then the outside. Will he be able to get FaZe Max here? He's going to launch it up the inside. That was brave, but very easy for FaZe Max to go round him, and he might just be better off waiting for the DRS zone coming down the Mistral here. Dubuk is very close, just ahead of the drivers, with Sarge just up ahead. So we've got DRS active now. Dubuk will go through to take the lead. What happens with FaZe Max and Shadow? No change of position just yet between FaZe Max and Shadow. Car's getting nice, getting good grip through there. A long series of toes. Sarge attacking back on Dubuk, not letting him get away. And we've got some more side-by-side action back into Bendor again. Cars not being able to get away from each other, which is great for our racing enjoyment, if not for the risk of further safety cars or accidents. Let's hope the cars can be fighting in pairs rather than in triples or quads, because then you know things are going to go wrong. Big long DRS train nullifying any advantage from each other. We've got DRS active and sequential from first all the way down to 13th place, everyone within DRS zone of each other. That's incredible. Lap 10, Dubuk leads from Sarge, and FaZe Max in third with Vapor Shadow. Jonamator, Vapor's teammate, now behind him. Jamie in the Alpine, then the Red Bull of Salad. The next Alpine of Matty in P8. And we head down the Mistral once again. Cars just spreading out slightly. I don't think anything's going to happen with the front 3 or 4, but something could happen a bit further down here. Jan Raven is getting by and successfully overtaking Matty. Good clean move there. Now next target for Jan Raven is Salad in the Red Bull ahead, but it's going to have to do that without the benefit of DRS at this point. We've got some action here between teammates. The Williams cars, can they hold it together here? We hope so. We don't want to see teammates taking each other out. Shadow staying ahead of Joni Mater. Williams team coordinating that one fairly cleanly in the end. And 4th and 5th for Williams at the moment. I think that they might end up with a better result than that overall. The Alpine of Jamie going around the outside of Joni Mater is then messed up on the way down the start-finish straight, and it looks like Toss My Salad has got through past Jamie. So clean move from Salad, just taking advantage of that issue that I guess Jamie kind of brought on himself by leaving himself on the outside of Joni Mater into Dupont. Some patience perhaps needed for our drivers. It looks like Phase Max has got back up to pace. JZ in the chat, I guess maybe JZ, I suppose I should say, but JZ in the chat calling out Phase Max as a potential victor here. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That's down the Mistral. I wonder if we had some contact. Matty going down the grid. Was there a problem for Matty? Looks like he's been swamped into the North Chicane. Jamie having just got back past Salad down that straight, benefiting from the lack of DRS for the car in front. And then Joni Mater and Vapor Shadow are negotiating for supremacy in the Williams team. I think they need a race engineer to actually put a ruling down on their position on track. This can only go one way between these drivers at this stage. And we head down the start-finish straight again. It's lap 11. These are flown by, and thankfully we've had plenty of racing laps now. Sarge, remember, started on those mediums, and the game mechanics predicting that this is a good time to go in the pits, or that at least his window is open for Sarge. He's slipped down to 3rd place now. Jibbock in the lead from Phase Max and Sarge. This could be the time that Sarge's tyres are screaming to be changed. Oh, big wiggle there from Joni Mater, losing grip. I think Joni Mater's tyres might be struggling as well. The cars will have been struggling around, lacking grip. Can Joni Mater get 2 cars in the Mistral straight? They're going to have a go. Oh, nice and close action, and well controlled. Not too greedy to lunge one down the inside. That was very well driven from Joni Mater, despite that little issue, trying to get the car out of Saint-Baume, the corner just before the Mistral straight. Let's head up though, because Sarge is losing out to Vapor Shadow. Shadow getting by there on the second half of the Mistral, probably tucking the car in under the underneath the car into Sanya. We've got 4 cars very close together. The McLaren of Florian getting around Jan Raven, then back underneath a pitting Jamie. It's quite a dangerous pit entry for our cars. So Sarge has decided this is the time to pit. Now, does Sarge elect for hard tyres here to get the car to the end, I wonder? Remember, he started on mediums, so he can't go back onto mediums unless he commits to a 2-stopper. He is. Hard tyres for Sarge, so another one to watch as we enter lap 13 with our leaders. Phase Max up to 2nd again after that issue. We had Joni Mater, I think, has retired. We lose Joni Mater in the pits. Wonder if that was voluntary. We're down to 11 runners, guys, unfortunately, so the vast majority of our drivers will get points tonight. We have a yellow flag. I wonder what happened to Joni Mater. I hope Joni Mater can stop by one of the chats I'm watching and see if he can fill us in on what exactly went wrong. But your leader is Jibbock, the pole sitter. It hasn't been straightforward driving for him, but he's got some underlying pace that is very difficult for the drivers to live with at the moment. Just goes around the outside, touching that outside curb, which is a dangerous hobby to get involved in this game. We've got it's a Mercedes from an Aston Martin, an Alpine, a Williams, a Red Bull, a McLaren, an AlphaTauri, an Alpine, and then the first of the repeat teammates, Roberto Mancini, up to P8. after that adventurous and difficult start. Jody Mater not happy with the game. Very common sentiment at this stage in the game development and delivery. It is certainly hard work for our drivers, certainly being made to work for their results in a way that they perhaps are not used to from the previous game. Everything's very different, very new. Jody Mater said that they pitted for the new wing and it didn't actually change the new wing, so an issue, and I presume then, Jody Mater, was that a voluntary retirement in frustration? There's definitely going to be points on the table for finishing the race tonight, so anyway, we're away. Conrad suggesting Salad might get the win here. I still think FaZe Max is looking very strong and could get a second win out of 2 races. Djibouc is getting away though, 3 seconds the lead at this stage of the race on lap 14. The tyres will start to die off for Djibouc, and maybe FaZe Max is just allowing Djibouc to get away so he's not following his wake, managing the gap to the car behind and in front. Vapor Shadow though is closing. It's now down to 8/10, so that's too close for comfort really for FaZe Max. But remember, lap 11, 12 will be when those yellow tired drivers, medium compound, will start to fade. So they'll all be hoping for another caution to pop up, just to help them out with their strategies, give them a cheap pit stop. Let's have a look at the penalty situation though, because we've had quite a few in the top 4. Top 5. 4 of our top 5 have got penalties, and I will get myself organised enough. Djibouc on a 6-second accrued penalties so far, so FaZe Max, despite having 3, will stay within range, but Vapor Shadow might well get both of them if he can stay away from any further penalties. We do hope so. It's like 15. We've completed more of the race than we have yet to go, but we've seen some of the gaps opening up now. Huberto Mancini has BMW close behind, while he's also trying to chase down Matti in the Alpine, so this one's going to be interesting very shortly. Vapor Shadow closing. I'll keep an eye on that gap because I want to make sure we catch a battle at the lead, but let's give some airtime to these drivers working really hard further down the grid at this stage of the race. Sarge is down in 10th after that pit stop, but may be on to a good strategy at this stage. Sarge did go for those hard tyres as we predicted. Vapor Shadow now closing to FaZe Max, and we'll be looking to try and close within range down the Mistral. Let's see as he goes through Ducomp and into Saint-Bohème. Very tricky to get traction, especially if your aero is compromised by the car in front. DRS in operation for Vapor Shadow. That will only help him close up into the Chicane du Nord. He should have a small tyre advantage right now, but it's going to drop off with every corner, especially corners such as the one to come, Sanya and Dubose. Gonna find grip dropping off very soon for these medium runners. I really appreciate all our drivers and all our fans sticking with us and showing the kind of tenacity we need to get good results and enjoyable racing at this stage of the game's development. In comes Vapor Shadow to the pits, so hoping to get an undercut on Djibouc, who stays out. Looks like Jam Raven's come in as well at this point, so those are the 2 drivers to watch. Remember that Vapor Shadow was in 3rd place, and the race is going to come towards FaZe Max now with 10 complete laps to go. Lap 17 now. Jibuk from Phase Max. Jibuk will be expecting to pit pretty soon. Salad, Florian, Huberto Mancini and Ustavia likewise will stay with those cars though and see how they're getting on. 3.8 seconds Jibuk's lead from Phase Max, who will obviously resume the lead of the race as he goes into the pits, and Phase Max will then have to concentrate on his own race and his tyre and ERS management towards the end of the race here, because he'll be lonely on the track. He'll just be looking at managing the pace on all of the wear rates. Salad is dropping down as Salad had an accident. He's not near the pits, so I think Salad might have made a mistake or been helped into a mistake, should we say. Maybe went wide in Sanya. That's a fairly likely point. So in comes Jibuk. Remember, we'll watch out for Vapor Shadow if he's managed to get the undercut to work. Florian goes through, but Huberto Mancini comes in, so does BMW Ustavia. Salad stays out because his teammate has gone in, and Vapor Shadow now in P7, but will be coming up and hoping to try and get past those guys who he pitted the lap beforehand. Of course, he's on fresh tyres, and Phase Max picks up another penalty. That's really going to hurt his race tonight. It looks like Jibuk has got away in front of Vapor Shadow. So Shadow did not gain a place, but he hasn't lost a place either through that strategy call. Jibuk away, the gap. Maybe Jibuk lost half a second to Vapor Shadow, but he had a sufficient enough margin. Let's go and have a look at our telemetry settings and see what the ERS situation is like. Vapor Shadow has spent a lot of ERS here. He's going to have to recover some at this point. He doesn't want to be held up without any ERS at the end of the race. But the penalty situation is going to be absolutely fascinating as we head into the latter stages of this race with 9 laps to go. The top 2 have got 6 seconds. So has place 4, with Salad in 3rd, having 3 seconds of penalties. So this is really going to get interesting towards the end. Let's go back to tyres then, because we want to see what Florian is doing. Florian into the pits. And what about Salad? Is he going to do the same? Salad stays out, surprisingly. 13 lap old mediums. Salad has managed to keep these tyres running, and I think if he's got this far, he's going to be able to put softs on, just like Ustavia, just like Florian has done, and have a nice sprint to the end. The gap then for Toss My Salad is 7 seconds plus a pit stop to the race leader. Phase Max now in that tricky section of his race where there's no one around him. He's being hunted down and he has to manage all his wear rates. So his car should be operating nicely. Those tyres should be way off the end of their life at the moment on those hard tyres, but who knows? And he needs to manage the gap with his penalties as well. So Florian on softs. Shadow came out on medium, so he wants to push to the end. And so he had the option, potentially putting softs on, but elected not to. So he's gone for mediums that he can push on. Maybe he just prefers the mediums under race conditions. Most everybody else who's pitted in the recent laps has elected to go for softs. Huberto Mancini's gone on to mediums, interestingly. Let's see him. He's with Ustavia. And it's tight at the back of the grid here as they arrange themselves going through here. Huberto Mancini just holding off the tensions of the Alpine behind, and they go back through. See into Sanya. Matti looking close behind the Alfa Romeo of Sarge, who's, remember, on those hard tyres, kind of backed into that one given the point at which he had to pit, but he will be able to run them to the end just like Matti, who looks to have a little bit more pace at the moment. BMW though will be the one with all the grip in the world as he dives up the inside of Dupont. I love that move. Works so well for drivers, and it helps them get away and better traction on the way out. As Matti, being compromised, is now having to fight off Huberto Mancini. Gets a good line through there. Huberto Mancini turns around and spins in the battle. So he goes to the back of the grid. His teammate's in third though, so should be a good night for Mercedes regardless at this stage of the race. Florian should be on the hunt as well, but we'll stay with those cars who are nice and tight together for the sake of entertainment purposes. Those two Alpines managed to be together. I don't think the team boss would be particularly happy with that showing at the French Grand Prix. Oosterveer now will definitely have bags more grip than Sarge, but that will fade off in the next 5 or 6 laps, so he may drop off a cliff of tyre grip unless he manages to make this work to the end. The Alpines just playing nicely with each other and getting out of each other's way, as Oosterveer is still struggling now to get past Sarge. The gap at the front is currently, wait for it, 14 seconds. So Phase Max with this penalty situation, it's important that we know the situation with penalties as well, and we can bear that in mind. But Phase Max and Jibuk are comfortably cancelling each other's penalties out, but Vapor Shadow is needs to stay within 3 seconds ideally. It's a little bit of wheel banging there down the start-finish straight as BMW does get by Sarge. So BMW will now head down, eyes forward to Jan Raven ahead, but is fairly long distance ahead of him. Lap 21, Phase Max leads. Got a strong lead from Jibuk and Vapor Shadow. Florian is in 4th with Jan Raven in 5th. Sarge struggling on these tyres, might have missed his braking zone slightly and is going to lose out to the second Red Bull, sensibly getting out of the way. I wonder if his tyres are reaching the end of their life. Probably not. 8 laps on the hard might have just been a simple case of missing the braking zone, unfortunately. 14 seconds is the gap at the lead of the race, which is sufficient for Phase Max to win. But has Phase Max made a mistake? He's gone in the pits. Does he have a penalty to serve? He's gone on soft tyres for the end. That's a super brave decision from Phase Max, giving up the lead. I thought he had this one covered, but he's come out in 4th place. He wants to sprint to the end. He wants to make this a challenge for himself. Not particularly happy going for an easy win. He's taken that decision to have a 5-lap sprint on the hard tyres, but his gap to the lead, I'm really interested to see if this one works out for him. This is very unexpected from Phase Max. He's got 9 seconds and 5 laps to catch back to the lead. Wow. Very, very interesting, especially given the 6 seconds of penalties he's got. That was certainly brave move from Phase Max, giving up the lead. I would have thought he'd be better off staying out, but maybe he knows something I don't. So the lead has changed again. It's now Jibuk from Vapor Shadow. Everyone on penalties apart from Matty, but Vapor Shadow needs to stay within 3 seconds, and he's currently hovering around the 5-second mark to Jibuk. Let's go back to tyres, just remind ourselves. Medium tyres for the top 2, softs for the 3rd and 4th, medium for Jan Raven in 5th, then softs for Salad and Oosterveer. Phase Max, of course, in 4th place. Going to set the timing beams alight from the next lap. I'm sure be doing quali laps now to try and catch the leaders that he gave up. I don't know if he'll even get himself on the podium with these penalties that he's accrued. So far, Salad doing best of all with an 11 place gain, and Sarge with a 10 place gain. But our drivers really have accrued an awful lot of penalties tonight. Quite surprising to see at this stage. Let's go back to our intervals because Salad is closing on Jan Raven. Yeah. This looks quite likely. A DRS pass down the Mistral will get Jam Raven before the braking zone for the North Chicane and through. Good move from Salad up to P5 now for the Red Bull team. 5 and 7 the places for that team right now, but Salad on the soft tyres bags more grip than Jam Raven had, unfortunately, and a sprint to the end, and Florian has closed within DRS zone of Shadow. Florian was another one of our, I think, soft tyre runners. Forgive me, it's difficult to remember all the time. But Florian, Phase Max and Salad are all on soft tyres. Florian has a 9-second penalty though, so Vapor Shadow can probably afford to let Florian by. Doesn't need to attack too hard here. We'll see that Florian's on different tyres, and yeah, maybe we'll get through to the end here safely without any more penalties. We shall see. Florian chasing down Vapor Shadow. Vapor Shadow hoping to hold on to this second place. I don't think we'll be looking for too much in the way of, won't be too adventurous hoping for the win unless Gibbet catches another penalty. Never know. We've seen it happen before. But we're down to 11 runners, but we've had 11 runners for a fair while now, so the drivers just getting into a rhythm, but this game will punish the slightest, tiniest little mistake. This is your tightest battle at this stage of the race. Florian on soft tyres needs to get by as soon as possible for the sake of his race and tyre life. Very different lines going into Beausset for those two drivers. Matty finally completes our penalty awards, so we now have every single driver getting a penalty tonight. I thought we would hold off and have one clean driver at the end, but sadly not. So it's lap 25 of 27, 2 racing laps to go. Gibbet has the lead, 4.8 seconds his gap, but it will be 1.8 seconds after penalties. Then Florian 3/10 behind Vapor Shadow's second place. Phase Max in fourth, not really catching the leaders as well as I'd hoped for a barnstormer of a finish. Florian steps out onto the exit curb, catches another penalty, and that's now 12 seconds of penalties for Florian. That has done away with his penalty for sure, with his podium for sure. Phase Max is catching now. Look, you can see him. He's watching these other two. What does Vapor Shadow do? No major defense. Tries to sweep around the outside. That was dangerous, but holds on to his place for now. I think Florian's going to get him into Sanya. Yeah, it should be a fairly easy pass. And they sweep into Sanya. Florian gets the place on the road, but won't keep this podium, I don't think, with 2 laps to go. Roberto Mancini picks up another penalty, down in 11th place, not helping his plan to get points here tonight, unfortunately. Yeah, just some chat about the next race to come. Remember to tune in at 7 PM next Sunday, UK time. We're going to Spa, and that one should be dramatic. Always a good race around Spa. And if we've had trouble with curbs in the first 2 races, imagine what it's going to be like around Spa. 3 or 4 opportunities around that lap to fall foul of the new game mechanics or over curbs. Vapor Shadow dips down the inside, tries an inside move, steps around the outside of turn 3, gets the move done very nicely and manages to just avoid another penalty there. So good racing from Shadow. He'll be vulnerable again shortly. Phase Max now within DRS, and Florian's tyres are starting to go off, as you can see on the screen graphic. You're not wrong, Ryan. P1 is definitely going to be interesting next race, but let's deal with the end of this one first and look forward in the week to come for the next race. It started to rain, guys, on the final lap. I can see rain on the camera. This sting in the tail of this race as Phase Max screams by Florian. Phase Max got himself up to the podium position now. I'm fairly certain he will secure this podium without much trouble if he can just keep it on the island. Watch out now. Watch out for cars going wrong on not anticipating the loss of grip. Wow, rain at the end. what an amazing race and evening we've had on PSGL F11. We promised you full throttle and lots of action, and that's what we're getting. So glad everybody stayed with us to watch this race, and we'll hopefully watch it back, because this one has been very, very entertaining through and through. It's going to take a while just to work out how people have ended up exactly where they are as well. So we start the final lap with Jibuk in the lead, Vapor Shadow holding on at the moment to second place, then Phase Max, who gave up the lead for this soft tyre run, in third place, Florian in fourth, Salad in fifth, Jam Raven in sixth, and Jamie, BMW 7th, 8th is Jamie, 9th is Sarge, Matty is in 10th place. That 8th and 9th might swap round as BMW gets by Jamie. Sarge, I think possibly Jam Raven has had an error. Let's try and catch Jam Raven, just recovering, manages to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Humberto Mancini's come in the pits. I wonder if that's going to be a tactical retirement potentially from Humberto Mancini. Jamie, another penalty. Jibuk has 6 seconds. Phase Max has got by. Vapor Shadow's dropped down behind Florian now. Must have been compromised with action with Phase Max getting by the pair of them. I don't think Phase Max will hold on though. Jibuk is finishing his lap up. He's heading towards the last time round, Virage de la Tour and Virage du Pont, for the final time on the race. Jibuk set the pole and looks to be finishing the race. He's going to win in France. Jibuk, a great drive all evening to take the win for the Mercedes team. Following him behind is Phase Max in second on the road with Florian. But that actually gets handed back to Vapor Shadow. So Vapor Shadow gets second, Phase Max in third, Salad in fourth place for Red Bull, with Florian in fifth, BMW in sixth, Jamie gets seventh place in the Alpine. Matty gets past both of them, so Jamie down to eighth, Matty in seventh, Sarge got ninth from the back of the grid, Jam Raven, late race issue, in 10th, and I think Humberto Mancini is going to do some donuts or spins to finish us off. Wow, this is that was quite an amazing race. Wet qualifying, dry event pack race right until the penultimate lap when the raindrops started to fall, and some drama right in the tail of this race. Brilliant drives from our drivers. The ones who survived this one will, I'm sure, be pleased with that result. Looks like we've got Humberto Mancini just doing some drifts to finish us off for the race. Not super professional, especially with the reset tracks. But thank you very much for sticking with us through this difficult session. Really appreciate it, and make sure you tune in next week to our next instalment, our race 3 around Belgium. Can't wait for that one, and we're looking forward to seeing all the rest of the races on PSGL through the rest of this week as well. We've got racing Thursday night, Sunday night, and I think Wednesdays as well. But subscribe to PSGL and you'll find us next time we go racing. There's the podium ceremony for our drivers. Congratulations to Jibuk. Sure he'll be happy with that in the end. He did actually call for a restart at one point through this one, and Vapor Shadow getting that second place after penalties. He did end up fourth on the road, but stuck with it. Patience proved to be the virtue through there. So brilliant stuff. Well done everybody for finishing the race. Thank you for staying with us. I'll take you through the results and then we'll probably head off. Jibuk the win from pole, but it wasn't as easy as it looks. Then Vapor Shadow in the Williams. Phase Max taking his win from last week into a third this week. I'm sure he'll be happy with a double podium. Salad for Wales, for Britain, for Red Bull. From 17th on the grid, I'm sure he got driver of the day there. I didn't see it on screen, but I'm sure that's a driver of the day performance. 17th to 4th. Florian gets the fastest lap in 5th place for the McLaren team. Then we've got BMW Oosterveer in 6th place for the second Red Bull. Good points haul for that team this week. Then 2 Alpines of Matty and Jamie. Sarge got 9th place, starting 18th. Jan Raven got the final points in the AlphaTauri, starting 13th. Huberto Mancini did get a classified finish despite all the fun that he had at the end of the race. And then our first retiree was Joni Mater. Our most recent retiree was Joni Mater. Then we have Panda, NRO 4590, Wobo, Vettel, Liam 13, and of course we lost Jimmy Allen very early on in the race. Thank you very much for watching this evening. Remember to hit the like, the subscribe, give us a comment, and stay tuned. And we will hope to see you all again next week. Bring your friends. Watch the video back and point out your favourite moments. But until next week, thank you everyone for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.